All right, you little fifth graders. We are moving on in math to order of operations. Order of operations is a group of steps in order to solve math problems that have more than one operation. It is very important that you follow these steps. If you do not follow these steps, you will get the wrong answer. So when you have a math problem that has more than one step and more than one type of math in it, these are the steps that you must follow. Number 1, solve all operations that are grouped together using grouping symbols. Brackets are solved first. So, everything inside of a bracket, when you see that in a math problem, it must be solved first in that problem. And then parentheses are solved second. So first you look for brackets, then you look for parentheses, and you solve everything in the parentheses. Now inside the brackets and inside the parentheses, you must follow step number 2 and 3 as well. But if there are no brackets and parentheses, then you can just move on to number 2. Number 2 says solve all the multiplication and division in order from left to right. So you start on the left side of the math problem, just like you're reading, and you work your way over to the right. And as you're moving across the math problem, you solve all the multiplication and division problems you come across. Now, division can come before multiplication. It just depends on which one comes first. Number 2 could say solve all the division and multiplication in order from left to right. Whichever comes first, multiplication or division, you just start on the left side of the problem and you work your way to the right and solve multiplication and division problems. And then number 3, solve all addition and subtraction in order from left to right. So same thing, it could be subtraction and addition. You just start on the left side of the problem and work your way over to the right, and any addition or subtraction and addition that you come across as you're moving to the right, you solve those problems. So here are the 3 steps of order of operations. Let's look at an example. Solve 2 times 5 plus the difference of 18 minus 3 times 6. So, first thing we do is we look for brackets. There are no brackets. So now we look for parentheses. We do have parentheses. 18 minus 3 is in parentheses. That means I must do that first. So 18 minus 3 is 15. Notice how the problem is rewritten, but instead of 18 minus 3, you have 15 there. So now the problem is 2 times 5 plus 15 times 6, instead of the 18 minus 3 into parentheses. So now I move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is to multiply and divide from left to right. So I start on the left side of my problem and solve all the multiplication or division problems that I come across. So I do have a multiplication. Excuse me. Let me see if I can get back. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, so I do have a multiplication problem. 2 times 5. So I solve that one. 2 times 5 is 10. So now I have, instead of 2 times 5, I have 10 plus 15 times 6. I'm not finished with step number 2 because I still have a multiplication problem. I have 15 times 6. So that has to be solved next, which is 90. So now I change 15 times 6 to 90. And now I no longer have any multiplication. I don't have any division. So now I move on to my last step, which is addition and subtraction from left to right. So I only have one thing left to do, 10 plus 90. That's the last thing to do. So that answer is 100. So the answer to the entire problem is 100. But I had to go in order of the order of operations. I couldn't just start on the left side and start solving everything. The very first thing I did in this problem is located in the middle of the problem. So remember, you have to follow the steps. And we're going to practice these in the next video. Last but not least, have a nice day. So there you have it, you little fifth graders. Order of operations. Be sure to follow these rules. This is how much coffee I drink.